From Mario we came, and from Mario we shall return. We've come full circle, and on this episode, our final episode for 2015, we put a bow on our commemoration of 30 years of Super Mario. We've looked back on the main series, and here we will take a look at some of the offshoot games that, in some cases, proved to be just as fun or maddening, if not more so than some of the main games. Mario Kart, Mario Party, the Mario Sports titles, Paper Mario, just to name a few. So sit back and enjoy as we begin our season finale of downloadable content. Next! Hello everyone, welcome to Downloadable Content. I'm Brian, and with me we have Ron.
Hey everyone.
And only Ron, so it's just going to be a quiet, cozy season finale here. Season 5 coming to an end. Here we are. Happy holidays to all of you listening out there, everywhere on the wide world of the internet. Wrapping up our celebration, 30 years of Mario. Talking about the offshoot games in this episode.
We would try not to spend 35 minutes on Mario Party or Mario Kart, though I make no promises.
Well, we don't make any promises. I mean, we have a lot of games to talk about, so before we dive in, I just want to let you all know, downloadable content can be found on iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher, and you can get a hold of us on a variety of ways. Facebook.com/DLContent, Twitter at DLContent, Tumblr, DLCpodcast.tumblr.com, and of course, you can always email us, dlcontent1@gmail.com, all the different ways to get downloadable content into your ears. So with that, let us go right in. We've got a lot of games to talk about. We've already spent 3 episodes talking about the main Mario canon, all of the games from 1985 to now, starting with the original Super Mario Brothers and ending up with Mario Maker, which is proving to be such a popular game for Nintendo.
It's definitely an interesting game to see played because it's not even like Nintendo did much. They did basically just gave you some tools to be like, hey, make your own Mario level or make your own Mario game. And it's turning into a semi-quasi fun into literal nightmare fuel.
The crowd's gone wild. You and I have seen probably a bunch of levels thrown up on YouTube. Some of them I watch people play through those levels, and I'm like, nope, I would break my TV.
Yeah, like there's a video I saw where the level was beatable, but you literally had to time down like your invincibility frames and what you're running along down to like within a few frames of like leaping off to the next platform or onto the next flying Koopa to jump across like infinite platforms or infinite like fireballs, because there's a lot of stuff.
There's levels up there that I'm just like, it requires so many reflexes that I'm like, nope. They're fun to watch though, and of course, I mean the level has to be beatable. That's the only way that anyone else can play them after you upload them. Is that the creator had to have beaten the level before anyone else played them. That's the rule. So Nintendo seems to have struck some gold here with that game. It's been a very popular title for Nintendo. But here we will talk about other games that could be just as frustrating as any Mario Maker level, maybe more so. We're going to talk about games that definitely have ruined some friendships, broken a lot of hearts, or even caused bodily injury, as we will get to very shortly. But I just want to start off with something I'm just going to take a few minutes on because there's not too many games in this spin-off, but it's probably one of the earliest ones, and that would be Dr. Mario, which came out on the NES in 1990. And I remember playing it as a kid. I never owned it, but I had friends who did, so I played it there. And it was definitely during the time in the early 90s where people were taking the Tetris formula and trying to expand upon it.
Yeah, being like, hey, there's Tetris, which is pretty popular on the Game Boy, and you have it available for you on the NES, and it's kind of like, well, what can we do to make some money off this? Because it's relatively simple to make.
So let's put a lab coat on Mario, and let's make it so that instead of making as many lines as possible, as is the case with Tetris, now we're gonna throw pills out into the playing field, and you have to match the colors. Because each pill was split into two halves of different colors, and you had to match up the colors. Basically, in today's terms, it's like Bejeweled.
Yeah, you have Tetris and Bejeweled fused together in 1990.
Yep, there you have it. And there was a little caveat. I remember that in each level you had viruses, and the object was to put the corresponding color pill on a virus to wipe it out. And I think you beat the level once you got rid of all of the different viruses.
Yeah, that was the thing, was that Mario was supposed to be a doctor, and he's like, well, someone's sick. I'm going to cure you by injecting you with so many pills, and the virus is going to explode, or you're going to explode.
Somebody might die, but that's okay.
Welcome to the late 80s, early 90s, like, world mentality, people. Or just fill it with pills and drugs.
And yet Mario never got sued for medical malpractice.
Not that we're aware of.
Well, maybe just that's something we don't talk about in Nintendo. It's Mario's dark history. But yeah, so there was a few games. I think there was a Dr. Mario 64. And I mean, the formula was by and large kept the same, and that was pretty much it. I mean, it wasn't until we get to my first real joy Mario offshoot game, and that was probably a game that everyone owned on the Super Nintendo, and that would be the first Mario Kart game.
Yep, the very first one where you had 8 characters?
8, yep.
Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Toad, Yoshi,
Donkey Kong, and Koopa Troopa.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm missing one of them. I couldn't remember Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong and Koopa Troopa, those were the 8. And it was a go-kart racing style. I mean, it's one of those games that I still play to this day. I downloaded it on Wii Virtual Console. It was one of the first games I downloaded when I bought the Wii. And it's looking back on it now, it's still pretty challenging in the later difficulty of the 100cc and 150cc, and it was one of those games where, as a kid, we all used to throw temper tantrums whenever we lost to the computer. The game is cheating! This was one of those games that legitimately did.
Yeah.
Because every single character had their own unique special item that you as the player would never have.
Mm-hmm. And also keep in mind that if you were further in back, it was more likely that one of the other people in back would get something like a star or lightning bolt, or more likely to get their own unique ability.
Right, like Mario and Luigi, they both had the star that they could use whenever they wanted, and did. Yoshi had, remember the egg, which if you were to hit it, you shrunk?
Yeah, basically like a reverse, like a one target person
lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt, yeah.
I think like Donkey Kong could throw bananas whenever he wanted.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure Donkey Kong was like chucking bananas forward and backwards, which I don't think you could normally do.
No, you didn't have that ability. And Now for those of you for the children listening, there was no such thing as the blue shell.
Not yet.
Not yet. No such thing as the blue shell. It was Mario Kart. While a ton of fun, it was one of those games where if you were in, it was not a crime to be in first place. But for the game to try to make up that sort of fact, as it were, like if you were to hit somebody with a red shell, red shells and green shells did exist. And if you hit somebody with a red shell and knock them all the way to the back of the line, you could actually see, because the game was split screen. On the top, you could see the race, and on the bottom, you could see the map of the track and where all the other players were.
Yeah,
and
there were different colored dots. Like Mario was red, Luigi was full green, Donkey Kong was brown, Koopa was blue, I think. Like, they're all different colors, so you could tell easily who was who.
Yeah, you could tell easily who was who, but if you knock somebody back, then the AI would suddenly, like, have super speed and come right up behind you.
Yeah, literal 2 seconds later, they're on your butt after you knock them from first into eighth.
Yeah, it was, the game tried to make up for it, but it cheated. Just call it what it is. It cheated, and you had, of course, some of the most iconic stages that are still referenced in even current Mario Kart. I mean, you have the original Rainbow Road.
I'm pretty sure the first 4 circuits are all the same. You have Mushroom Cup, Flower Cup, Star Cup, and then
the Special. Yep, and you had Mario Circuit, which was always the easiest board. But the more iconic levels, Bowser's Castle, the different varieties of the castle, the ghost houses.
In ghost houses, you had a lava track, you had an ice track. There was, generally speaking, a beach track somewhere early on in the Flower Cup, I think.
I know the level that's the Donut Plain, so they were using names and levels from Super Mario World.
Yeah.
It was... I will never forget the original Rainbow Road, because of all of the boards, the original Rainbow Road has no bumpers, no walls.
There's no wall, there's no bumper. It is literally you, the track, and the 7 cars on the road. And the occasional shell and star person racing by you. If you got knocked off, it was 15 seconds for you to fall off and get left back on by Pooh? Lakitu, thank you.
Lakitu, yes, and it would cost you money. You collected coins, which is something they brought back in Mario Kart for the Wii U. They brought back the coins. If you got... And the coins were actually important in the original Mario Kart, because if you didn't have anytime you bumped into another character, you spun out.
Yeah. I don't think there was the weight class yet.
No.
Could be wrong. But no, I didn't think there was, and the coins were basically preventing you from getting knocked out or spun out. So there were situations where Peach would knock out and spin out Bowser or Donkey Kong, which... Nowadays, you're like, well, she's like weighs all of 5 pounds wet. How is she knocking over the 2-ton Bowser or the 600-pound gorilla?
There was a slight element of that sort of weight class in physics, though, in the original, because if you played as one of the heavier characters, it did take longer to accelerate. But it
was longer acceleration, but once you got to max speed, I think you were one of the fastest.
You were flying, yeah. So, some elements of physics, but not to the extent that Mario Kart has now, where right down to what tires you choose, what frame you choose. There was no specialization at all.
Yeah.
And you actually had a certain number of lives. If you finished below 4th place on any level, it would cost you a life. And if
to race the next track, yeah.
Yeah, it would cost you a life, and if you ran out of life, it was game over.
Mm-hmm. It sounds a little archaic now, but it was a lot of fun back then. And that was just for single player, mind you guys. There were some really weird multiplayer games they had for it.
The original Mario Kart had just had something called the match race, where it was basically you and one other player play, that you race each other, and then there was the battle mode where you had 3 balloons each attached to your car.
Yep. And for me, the one that started ruining friendships was your multiplayer with the battle balloons.
Because you had to try to hit each other. Whoever got hit 3 times lost.
Yeah, and it was literally, and the maps were not small, mind you. They were like decent sized tracks. So there were times where you could see where they were on the mini map, but you couldn't see what they'd actually set up. So you could turn the corner and all of a sudden they fire 3 green shells at you. You're like, oh shit.
That was in the N64 version. Yeah, it was in the original game. We hadn't gotten that advanced yet. It was always one.
Only one. Okay. Yeah, but the thing with the green ones though was that they always stuck around until it hit something.
Yep, green ones always stayed around.
So there were certain ways where you could angle them and set up your own little obstacle course if you were quick enough.
It's try this, asshole. It's
yeah, we lose 2 balloons just to get to them to shoot them with your 1 red shell, and now you're at 1 balloon and they've got 2, and they're just being like, ha 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 ha. I just gotta hop over a wall, grab this power up, pick whatever the heck I want, and then just either kill you or burst away to the other side of the map.
And this game came out in 1992, so if you're 7 or 8 years old playing this game, it could be fairly traumatic. It's
yeah, I was playing this in college. This was back in 2006 on an SNES. So this game had some longevity to it.
Still does.
Yeah.
Still does. I still play it. It's still a ton of fun, and now that you know that the game cheats, you can take that into consideration. You can take that into consideration, and then you have the later Mario Kart games. You had the rarest item in the original game was the lightning bolt, and that happened so rare. It was, if you got the lightning bolt, it was like gold. It's like, when do I want to use this? When do I want to use this?
Yeah.
Other items that you had in the earlier games that I don't think exist in the later ones. You have the boo, where you stole an item.
Yep.
Or sometimes nothing.
Usually nothing.
Sometimes nothing. Sometimes you get a good item. But Mario Kart 64 is still my favorite. It's still my favorite of the Mario Kart games because I think it has the perfect blend of items. You get blue shells, but they're not so frequent.
Mm-hmm.
Later games, you have the inclusion of bikes.
Yeah, that was the Wii one, I believe, was the first one that had bikes.
I think it was.
Mario Kart Double Dash had 2.
Yeah, Double Dash, you were playing in tandem.
Yeah. And there was a little thing with that one where, if you had someone heavy in back and light in front, then you would drift more or drift less or affect your speed up. They expand the roster as the later games went on too. I want to say there's 16 playable ones now.
Yes, in the current version, in Mario Kart 8, there are... Well, it's the biggest one. It's 12.
Okay, so Mario, Luigi, Peach, Rosalina, Bowser, Yoshi, Toad. I know they added Link.
Yep.
Boo? King Boo?
I'm looking. I think Baby Mario and Baby Luigi are in there.
Okay. That'll be 10?
Mario Kart 8 characters. There's 48 tracks, good lord.
Yeah. Lord Google, how many characters are in Mario Kart 8?
Alright, your default characters. Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Toad, Koopa Troopa, Daisy, Shy Guy, Wario, Waluigi, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, Baby Daisy.
That's more than 12. That's 15, I think.
That's 16 by
It's
default.
16 by default. All right.
And then the unlockable ones,
Yeah.
the DLC ones, are Rosalina, Toadette, Metal Mario, Lakitu, Larry. You have the eight Koopalings.
All right.
Baby Rosalina, Pink Gold Peach, and you could also use your own Mii.
Yeah. And then they added or are adding Link. Because I know there was a big hullabaloo about that. It's like, oh my god, Link and Mario.
So those characters that I just mentioned, those are unlockable characters through through gameplay. DLC characters are Tanuki Mario, Cat Peach, Link, the Villager from Animal Crossing, Isabelle, and Dry Bowser.
It sounds like there's 32. And I do the math for me, Brian. You have it up.
Yep, 16. Let's see, 16 plus 14, that's 30 plus 6. 36.
36 playable characters in Mario Kart 8. Jesus Christ.
And 48 tracks.
And 48 tracks.
So along the way, we went through the different
we went from 8 and 16 to 36 and 48.
Yeah. So yeah. There's a lot. There's quite a lot. And now we have that thing called the internet. So you don't have to have a bunch of players sitting in front of a TV, which is a lot of fun. I've done that. I was, I was at a friend's house. Wyatt threw a combined 30th birthday party for a bunch of us who turned 30 this year, and he has a Wii U, so we actually got 8-player Smash, and because even though we didn't have 8 Wii U controllers, we all had 3DSs.
Yeah.
Which is nice, but we played multiplayer Mario Kart. It was a blast. I loved it.
I mean, it's going to be, when you get that many people together to play Mario Kart, it's going to be nothing but pure mayhem, so...
Oh yeah, it's definite hilarity and wailing and screaming and tons of fun. So, Mario Kart is still absolutely great. I still prefer to play with friends as opposed to playing it online because...
Yeah.
You have dicks, but...
Yeah, playing it with friends, I find is always the better option, even if this could induce controller throwing and or TV breaking.
Which is fine. That's a ton of fun. I mean, it is what it is. That's one of the great things about Mario Kart.
Generally speaking, it's good, mostly clean fun.
Mostly clean. Caveat. And so with that, I think that's a good segue to a game that is actually far less clean fun and much more friendship breaking is Mario Party.
Yeah, the thing that more often than not will cause parties to run long, friendships to be ruined, and controllers to be broken.
Especially in the earlier games where you had the dreaded thing called chance time.
Yeah.
Where you have to cough up all of your stars in like the final 2 moves.
Mm-hmm.
So Mario Party initially came out for the N64. It was introduced to us in 1998. And is still going on. We had Mario Party 10 released for the Wii U just this past March. But I actually haven't really played any of the more recent Mario Party games. My familiarity with Mario Party is really from the N64, and I did have it on the GameCube.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, the formula really doesn't change much. All they usually do is add more games and add more boards. Maybe more playable characters. But the playable characters don't really matter all that much.
No, I mean, it's the first 3 or so games that are the most memorable to me. Because they were the most friendship killing.
Yeah,
they were the least forgiving, and these were the ones. Well, especially the first one caused bodily injury.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how many of you out there on the internet who played the original Mario Party and have had your hands peeled off from specifically the one mini game called Paddle Battle, where you have to rotate. To win, you have to rotate the N64 joystick as fast as you can for about 30 or 45 seconds. And if you remember anything about the N64 default controller, that
joystick's a piece of shit. It's literally like a twig attached to a really hard rubber nub.
It's also grooved.
Yeah.
It's also grooved, so you see a game like that where you have to rotate the joystick as fast as you can. You're not going to use your thumb. No, you're going to use the palm of your hand.
Yeah, you're going to stick your palm of your hand on the N64, and you're going to spin around as fast as you can, like you're trying to give your dog a belly rub.
Yeah, you'd want to get up a nice, good thing of motion. The problem with that is that you peel all the skin off your hand off.
Yeah, within like 3 plays of it, the palm of your hand is red, and there's probably indentations in it. There might be blood on your controller.
It never got to that point, but I did peel enough skin off my hand where I was in actual pain. It was stinging.
Yeah.
And, because I was an idiot, I'd be like, well, shit, that hand doesn't work. I've got another one.
Another one? Let's use that. I've got 2. This is what they were used. This is what they're intended for, right?
Yeah, so for a few days after I peeled both my hands off, I would be wearing basically biker gloves because the palm of my hands they hurt so badly. So I'm just like, nah, just use the leather biker gloves, like ah ha ha.
Yeah.
And it was because of that game. Do you remember the Power Glove?
Yeah, that horrendous peripheral that's people seen in The Wizard.
Oh, the glove that, because people were ripping and Nintendo found out about this, but people were ripping their hands to shreds playing this game. It hurt that badly, but I don't think it was called the Power Glove, but Nintendo was aware that this game was causing injury.
Causing some physical injury.
So they put out for a short while these gloves to try to alleviate that. I guess in testing they didn't anticipate little children would be like, fuck using the thumb. I'm just I'm convinced it's that reason alone that the first Mario Party game has not been released ever since. You will not find it on Virtual Console.
Yeah.
You'll find other Mario Party 2 was available as a download on the Virtual Console, but not the first. You will never see the first game.
I can't imagine trying to do that on a Wii D-pad, because that thing ain't very comfortable either. Or a Wii U controller. Like that does not seem like a very comfortable thing to have happen with that.
Although, speaking of the glove thing, this is new information, I didn't know that. The reason why the glove came about was because Nintendo lost a class action lawsuit that was brought on by several families of the injured players.
So they got so into Mario Party, they ruined their hands, which led to the parents suing Nintendo.
And won.
And they won it. And they forced Nintendo to make a shitty $15 glove that they've probably sold for $30.
And also it was because of that that games after you'll notice that after the first Mario Party, Nintendo stopped making the mini games using the joystick.
Yeah, they always use like D-pad, and they generally speaking don't require rapid movement of circular motion.
Yeah, they brought that type of minigame back with Mario Party Island Tour because the way that the analog stick was redesigned made it safe.
Yeah, it's a thicker stick with not nearly as many grooves, and it's a lot easier to do the palm motion with. because it's a giving rubber instead of a hard plastic.
I still had a blast, though, because it was so gratifying to be able to steal a star from one of your friends right at the end of the game.
Yeah, and like jump from like third to first or fourth to second or something like that. For me, I enjoyed it, except for the fact that for my friends and I, we would do like the 3 levels or however many levels there were, and like it would take us like 3 hours per level, and it was just. By the end of it, it was literally like playing a game of Monopoly, and you're just like, oh my god, I just want to be done. I don't care who wins, I just want to be done.
Well, you have the option to set how many rounds you could play.
Yeah, well, we set it to like 3 or 4 rounds, because we thought that it's only going to take us a couple hours. 5 hours later, we're in the middle of round 3, and it's kind of like, oh my god, we already know who's going to win, let's just be done with this already.
Yeah, I mean, you could set it that for 20 turns, 35, or 50 in the early games if you were being very
masochist.
Very, very masochist. But you had some of the more memorable games like Mushroom Mix-Up, where Toad would put up a color flag, and everyone had to race to that particular mushroom top. You had, what was it, another game? It was the one where everyone was on a ball, and you were rolling around.
Yeah.
And you had to try to knock each other off.
The more memorable one I remember is that, like someone played it as Luigi, and it'd be like, how many minigames did you play and win by not moving at all? And it ended up being like 4 of the 7 minigames you could win by not moving, because the other AIs would move and kill themselves.
Yeah, the original Mario Party had 50 separate mini games. Bumper balls. That was the one. Then there were ones that really tested how accurate you were, like there was a mini game called Facelift, where you had to distort an image of Bowser so that it looked like the example in the center. Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, well, how do you make it look this exact same? Then I don't draw anything, or let the other AI mess it up for you.
Oh yes, Paddle Battle. I'm taking a look at the list now. Shy Guy Says, that was always fun. Especially when Shy Guy would lift up 2 flags and bring one down very quickly. It's like, oh, damn it! And it was... As Mario Party games went on, I think, they haven't really strayed too much from their formula, so I think over time, the Mario Party series has gotten pretty boring. That's just my opinion, so...
I agree. It's... The issue I find is that there's only so much innovation you can do on what is basically a digital board game.
Yeah. That's basically it. I mean, and although some of the sound effects, though, in the early Mario Party games are just hilarious. I mean, even, when Wario, whenever he... Oh, I missed!
Yeah.
So what do I do now, since I know that Mario Party 1 will never ever be released again because of the injury it caused? I have that thing called an emulator.
Yeah. And you probably have a better controller attached to your computer than you do with that. The Nintendo 64 controller is definitely one of the more interesting controllers conceived.
If you mean one of the more horrible controller designs, then yes.
Like it seemed fine, except for the fact that 95% of your motion was tied to that dinky little twig of a joystick.
Yeah.
Like if you could use the D-pad or the C button, the C-pad more often for movement, I think it'd be okay. But like, no. But you must use the D-pad. You must use the joystick, and only that one joystick.
Forever. That's it. So yes, more friendship-losing games there, and so I think the last the last offshoot series we'll talk about on this first half is not a party game. It's a single player experience, and it's going to be Paper Mario. Now we talked about in the main block. You know, a lot of people don't consider Super Mario RPG to be part of the main Super Mario canon. I mean, I felt it necessary because that was Mario's first RPG.
Yeah, Mario's first RPG. It was set by and large in the Mario Kingdom and like the Mario area. Like there was very little like RPG-esque about it, other than like the battle system.
Oh, well, Mario RPG was basically, you had experience points, everyone had HP, MP was called FP, flower points, ooh. And, you know, it was a turn-based battle system, and it was one of my favorite games for the Super Nintendo, was Super Mario RPG. So, it took a while for Nintendo to go back to the RPG style, but when they did, it was a game that I could not put down. The original Paper Mario, which was on the N64. And this was, to me, just so much fun to play. I loved the art style. You had
the art style is definitely one of the major selling points of that game.
You know, where you had the 3D background, or of the Mushroom Kingdom, but every character was 2D.
Yeah, 2D paper cutout, hence the Paper Mario. And there was usually some mechanic involved where you took advantage of that flatness.
Yeah, or it's like if Mario got flattened, you'd see him float down like a piece of paper. And it kept a lot of RPG mechanics. Mario had HP and MP, and you could, along the course of the story, you would find additional characters that would tag along with you in your quest. You had, there was I forget the name, the first character you had, like a Goomba.
A Goombet?
Goombet, I think, was later.
I don't remember. I could have sworn it was
Goombario.
Okay.
Goombario.
Was he a Mario fanboy, I think?
Yes. He was a Mario fanboy, so it was Goombario. Then you had Cooper.
Who was a Koopa?
Yep. And each player, each additional character had their own unique ability, and now you could only use one at a time. It wasn't like you could have a party of 3 or 4 like in Super Mario RPG. No, it was Mario plus one other. So you had Goombario, Cooper, Bombette. You had Parakarry with the Paratroopa. Lady Bo. You had a character named Watt, which was the little Sparky.
Mm-hmm.
Sushi, the Cheep.
Yeah.
And Lackluster, the Lakitu. So each one had their own unique abilities. Goombario, basically he was your Pokedex. He could tell you information about any enemy, any character.
Yeah, usually give you the stats and like the attack and the defense and like little additional types of being like some witty comment, or if you scan Bowser, it'd be like, this is Bowser, King of Koopas, and generally a not nice dude and Mario's nemesis.
Cooper had the ability to throw his shell at multiple enemies. Bombette was your Bomb.
Yeah.
Parakarry had the ability to help Mario to cross large gaps. Lady Bo made Mario invisible temporarily. Watt was the only character that had the ability to penetrate an enemy's defense and also see hidden objects. Sushi gave Mario the ability to swim, and Lackluster gave Mario the ability to travel over dangerous environments like spikes and lava.
Yeah.
I could not put this game down. I thought the story was a lot of fun. It started with its trademark tongue-in-cheek dialogue.
Yeah, tongue-in-cheek dialogue. I think the game really starts with you as Mario getting invited to the castle from Peach to get a cake because it was Mario's birthday, I think.
Mario gets an invitation from Peach to a party. And so Mario and Luigi go to the castle, and as Mario is about to have some quiet time with Peach, Bowser appears.
Goddamn, Bowser.
You know, Bowser, he invades and he knocks out Mario, and the castle becomes attached to Bowser's fortress. So Mario tries to retrieve all of the star spirits, and Bowser steals the star rod, and that's your driving point.
That's your plot, yeah. Is stop Bowser from getting all the power from the star rod, because it's powerful as is, but it can be more powerful if it gets enough of the star spirits.
So you had RPG elements all the way through. The annoying thing is that this was one of those games where even if your other player character had health, if Mario was knocked down to 0, that was it.
Yeah, game over.
So, again, could not put this down, and so I was so excited when the 1,000-Year Door came out. And
that was for GameCube?
Yep.
I think.
It was for GameCube, and this time Bowser was not the main attraction. Mario was trying to retrieve the 7 crystal stars and rescue Peach from the X-Nauts.
They were like extra-dimensional beings, I think. Or alternate dimension beings, I think. I can't remember the exact plot of that game.
I enjoyed it, but some of the flack was that it was too similar to the original game.
Which it was. Let's be fair, it was.
It was. I mean, you wouldn't get a real sort of shift from the Paper Mario, formula, as it were, until Super Paper Mario, in which most of the RPG elements were removed.
Yeah. There still were some of them, like if you ran into an enemy, you lost hit points. It wasn't just like you shrunk in size. The main changes was that it was a mix of 2D when you were in town or moving between like layers, and a mix of 3D where you were like moving left, right, up and down, jumping and stuff like that through the stage. And the unique thing was that you would swap between 2D and 3D to access particular levels of the game or particular levels of that stage, or find hidden power-ups or things like that.
The dialogue in Super Paper Mario is hysterical.
Oh, also, yeah, there's a whole lot of like tongue-in-cheek, like pop culture references. There's like a little side story of you're fighting one of the enemies who's like Space Fighter L, and for those of us who know what Luigi looks like, it's clearly Luigi, but he's testing Mario because of
reasons.
He got brainwashed, I think.
I don't remember.
I could have sworn he got brainwashed into being evil, but Mario conked him on the head a couple times to the point where he started questioning things, and then he became like an ally, but still didn't realize he was Luigi until like the end of the game. It was totally obvious the entire time that's Luigi.
Yes,
mind you, it's the whole like setup of being like, I'm just a serious fighter. No, you're Luigi. No, I'm just a serious guy, bad guy. No, you're Luigi. You just got possessed. Snap out of it, dude. Come on, we gotta go see Peach.
He was called Mr. L, also known as the Green Thunder.
Thank you. I couldn't remember what it was.
He was a brainwashed version of Luigi. And, yeah.
Slight aside. Which one had the female purple ghost? I want to say it was 1,000-Year Door.
Hold on.
Good. I'm bringing this up because there's a slight significance here.
Let's see.
There was one of the characters was a purple ghost, and she was the youngest of three, and the other two were bad guys in the town that you had to go through and beat up.
Are you thinking of Madame Flurry?
Potentially. I mean...
She's a slightly pompous and wind spirit.
No. I'm not thinking of her. This is a ghost girl with like a magic hat. Vivian. Found her.
Okay.
Okay. The reason why I'm mentioning Vivian is that in the US version, she's a she. The Japanese version, she's a he.
Interesting. I forgot about that.
This, to my knowledge, is the first transgender character in Mario.
I thought it was Birdo, but that could be...
Okay. Birdo aside. Because I did... Birdo's a weird one.
Let's see. One of the Shadow Sirens. Okay.
Yeah. Here, general information about Vivian gender. In the Japanese version of Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, Vivian is depicted as a transgender woman. It's openly stated in her character description, which translated as one of the Shadow Trio. Vivian appears to be a girl, but is really a boy.
Interesting.
And additionally, Goombella's title reads as Vivian of the Shadow Trio. She's the youngest sister, ... her brother. This is the Japanese translation, mind you.
Cool. Interesting.
Slight little trivia about 1000 Year Door.
There you go. All right. Cool.
And I'm sorry, it wasn't a maid chat. It was just a red and white, like, Waldo-looking hat.
I was gonna say, because I'm trying to remember, because I know one of the things I remembered clearly about 1000 Year Door was that there was a character, a wind spirit named Madame Flurry, who is described as a character as having, quote, ample stage presence.
Yes. And we all know what that means.
And yeah, well, she does. It's like, wow, Mario! I didn't think you would be dipping into double entendres so quickly. It's I mean, obviously, it's a Nintendo, it's a kid-friendly game. You're not going to come right out and say, yeah, she's got a big rack! You're just not going to do that. But yes, she crushes enemies with her stage presence.
Yeah.
Which is just funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, death by boob. It's alright. Alright, fine.
Probably one of the more interesting ways to go out.
Yeah, alright, fine. If you want to go out happy, go ahead. But... Super Paper Mario has, as I've mentioned before on downloadable content, one of my absolute favorite moments in video game history, and that is when Mario, or any of your characters in Super Paper Mario, get the star.
Oh yeah, definitely one of the more memorable things.
It's, for 30 years we've been playing Mario games. This is probably one of the most memorable titles, and if you haven't heard me gush about it, let me tell you what it is. As soon as you get the star, your character becomes the 8-bit version of that character, so it'll be the 8-bit version of Mario, Luigi, Bowser, Peach, what have you. However, they take up the entire screen, and for 30 seconds, you as this giant pixelated character just bowl over everything.
The entire time in the background is
it's so great. You're racking up points in the meantime, and every 10,000 points in Super Paper Mario was a level up. So
yeah, like if you knew where the thing was, you could run through an entire stage and get a level. Because by the way, all the enemies you're hitting along the way, which normally trigger a fight, you're just one-shotting.
Yeah.
And you're also demolishing all the platforms, all the blocks on the way, which means you get the coins from them too.
The pipes.
Which could be good or bad, but usually we're like neutral.
Yeah.
But like, if you were fast enough, you could demolish an entire stage into a flat, barren landscape full of nothing but like the ruined bricks and like remnants of pipes.
and gain a level in the process.
Yeah.
It was just so. Those moments didn't happen very often in Super Paper Mario, but when they did, it was just enjoy those 30 seconds for all it's worth, because you just destroy everything.
Yeah, like as soon as you're good at it, you pretty much hit right and run as fast as you can, running as many things as you can.
And then they got rid of that for Sticker Star, Paper Mario Sticker Star for the 3DS. But that's alright. That was still a pretty fun game. I mean, Paper Mario as a whole is a nice... It's a nice break. It's a nice break. So, I mean, I actually do want to pick up the crossover, the Mario and Luigi Paper Jam game for the 3DS once I break through some of my backlog. So, alrighty, well, we've discussed a few of the Mario offshoots at length. When we come back in our second half, we'll bring up some more. So you are listening to our season finale for 2015 of downloadable content, wrapping up our 30th anniversary commemoration of the Super Mario series. We'll have some music. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Welcome back to our season finale of downloadable content. We're all still here. Ron hasn't fallen off Rainbow Road.
Nope, not yet.
Not yet. He's still here. He's still holding on.
Got close a couple times. Goddamn red shell.
Although now that I remember that, in some of those levels, they would strategically put speed boosts.
Yeah, yeah. You're only now remembering that. They're like, oh, there's a speed boost right here, and 5 seconds later, while you're...
Although, if you timed... I remember, just going back to Mario Kart, I remember that if you timed the speed boost just right, there was a shortcut in Rainbow Road that was separate from the rest of the racetrack, that it was just a straight shot that could save precious seconds off, but only if you timed it perfectly.
Yeah, there were sections of Rainbow Road where if you had enough speed, either from usually it was speed boost and a mushroom, but if you did it at the right time, you could leap off the track and jump ahead onto the next level and gain like 30 seconds on your
Yeah,
opponent.
you would. It was great if you could time it just right. But yes,
And then 5 seconds later they're on your ass again because the computer's a cheating bastard.
yep, yes, that's exactly the case. All right, moving right along then. As we get into our second half, we've talked about Mario Kart, Mario Party, and Paper Mario. So back to the lighthearted fun. Now, Ron, I know you remember when we were talking about this in the other episodes that for I think 5 or 6 years there were no Super Mario titles.
Yeah.
But it was during that time that Nintendo really began experimenting with Mario as an athlete.
We need to kind of shave some pounds off Mario. He's been putting on a little bit of fat. We're going to put him through his paces and see if we can't get him to be a bit more fit and fim for Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, we need to. I mean, since we're going to throw this guy into space, we need to trim him down a bit. You know, NASA.
We need Mario to be in an astronaut shape, so we're going to throw him through his paces.
So we had a bunch of Mario sports titles that came out during that time, and one of them, the only one that I really played, well, two of them, but the one I played the most, the absolute most in college with Ben and Nick was Super Mario Baseball for the GameCube.
Yep.
That was my favorite because, as we all know, I'm a huge baseball fan, and it Mario Baseball just was quirky and fun, and you know you could there was a pretty hefty roster of characters. I mean, obviously you needed to have a roster.
You needed at least 18 people.
Yeah, so Mario Baseball incorporated characters from other Nintendo IPs, and you know it's actually not called Super Mario. It's called Mario Superstar Baseball. Woo! And you had for your characters Mario, Luigi, Daisy, Birdo, Peach, Waluigi, Yoshi, Diddy Kong, Wario, Donkey Kong, Bowser, Bowser Jr., Toad, Koopa Troopa, Shy Guy, Goomba, Toadsworth, Magic Koopa, Dry Bones, Boo, the Paratroopa, Dixie Kong, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Noki, Paragoomba, Monty Mole, Toadette, King Boo, Petey Piranha, Blue Pianta, Hammer Bro.
Those weren't counting. That was 32.
And for some of them, you could actually do a color swap. So you could have, instead of just the regular Toad, you could play Blue Toad, Yellow Toad, Green Toad.
It's probably would apply for the Koopas as well.
It went for the Shy Guys, the Magic Koopas, the Dry Bones, the Nokis, the Piantas, and you could also play as, instead of the Base Hammer Bro, you had Boomerang Bro and Fire Bro. Each character had their own unique power-up that they could use either on the field or while that you were batting. Like Mario had his super fast fireball.
For pitching, yeah.
And also, if for Mario, if you use that same power-up while you were batting, the ball would become fire.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Yoshi's was his tongue could catch the ball, so he would quite literally steal home run from you by eating the ball.
You know, and I will attest to this. Ben and I will attest this. Whenever we had Yoshi, he was always shortstop. Yoshi was always shortstop.
Always put the guy with the insane reach at shortstop.
I mean, Yoshi's like fucking Derek Jeter. You put Yoshi because there's so many. I can't even count how many times Ben and I would steal base hits because
yeah, when you hit a ball, you're like, that's going to be going on to left field. That's going to be a double easy. All of a sudden, no, fuck you.
So that's an out, and and oftentimes you'd be doubled off.
Yep. Because
Especially,
he Bob bet second to be a
yeah,
6-4-3.
yeah, shortstop to first, and you're done. Especially because, especially there was a mechanic in Mario Baseball that carried through to the Mario Baseball for the Wii, something called team chemistry. So certain team members paired very well with certain characters. So if you had, for example, and you could tell which teams had chemistry with each other because there would be a little music note next to each one. Like Yoshi would be very good with Mario. So I mean, if you had Yoshi at shortstop and Mario at first, forget it. Absolutely forget it. Or if you had like Pianta in one of the outfield positions and Noki as your catcher, you could not tag from third and run home on a fly ball because they would throw a laser to home.
Yeah, I don't think you're exaggerating about the laser part. I imagine it was an actual laser beam.
Yes, like if you had it so that Donkey Kong was one of your outfielders and Diddy Kong was your catcher, on a fly ball, you normally you would try to tag from third and go home, but nope, you catch it. You want to run? You sure? You want to try?
You feel lucky, punk?
You want to try that move? I mean, Yoshi might Yoshi might be able to run from third to home on that, but if you had like a compatible team chemistry between your catcher and any one of your outfielders, yeah, fuck it, nope. You'd be throwing 900 miles an hour from left field to home. It wasn't happening. And you also built up star points during the game. And each time you used a special ability, it would cost 1 star point. And during the course of play, there would be opportunities to earn star points. But if you were batting and you had all 5 star points, you could, if you had the most perfect timing, use a 5-star ability. And I don't know if this ever happened for a pitcher, but if you were a batter and you hit the ball on the nose using the 5-star ability, it was an automatic home run because not only did the ball go out of the park, it
left the stratosphere.
It left the universe. It was like, yep, no, I'm just not even gonna try.
It's like, I'm watching this ball sailing into the stratosphere. Oh, look, it just pinged off Sputnik.
Yep, there it is. It's gone. And Ben and I would be playing these really fierce pitchers duels. It was just... And probably the one thing I didn't like about Mario Baseball is that a lot of our games went into extra innings because we would, match each other out for out, or...
Yeah, so it's like it's 12th inning and it's 1-1 ball game, and
you get 3 extra innings. So if the game does not, if you don't break the tie within 3 innings, the game ends after the 12th in a tie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell fun is that?
Sorry, Brian, we're not going to have realistic baseball where baseball games can go into the 18th inning.
I want a 35-inning baseball game if it comes to that, but no.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, have you seen how dead baseball players are after an 18-inning game?
I wanted it to reach a point where every single player on your team is exhausted.
And then you can get out and do it the next day. Welcome to baseball, folks.
Welcome to baseball. So also contributing to the amount of fun for Mario Baseball is that you had Mario Stadium, but then you had a few other boards, but they all had board hazards. Like, hold on, let me just pull up the list of boards here. The stadiums. Peach Garden had question blocks suspended above the field. So if a ball hit one of the question blocks, it would bounce into a random direction. Sometimes that random direction was over the wall for a home run.
Yeah. And other times it's back into the infield for
an out.
For an out.
Because in Mario Baseball Land, if it bounces off a board hazard, it's still playable.
Yeah, like it. Actually, I'm thinking about this now. I think that's legit rule in baseball.
I think
in baseball specifically, as long as it's in the field of play and it hasn't touched the ground, it's still quote unquote in the air.
It depends on the stadium. Those ground rules actually do apply in some in the stadiums with a dome.
Yeah.
Like I know that, and this happened in the playoffs. There was a situation where the ball hit off the ceiling or one of the catwalks, and it was still playable. It depends on the ground rules per each stadium.
All right, that makes sense.
So,
I mean, I know, like for football, if it hits if they're playing in Dallas and it hits the jumbotron there, like that, they have to actually reset.
Wario Palace had chain chomps.
Yeah, I was gonna say who's got chain chomps? Who's got the piranha plants?
Yoshi, that's Yoshi Park.
All right.
Donkey Kong Jungle has barrels that jump out. They don't jump out. There are barrel. You know in Donkey Kong Country, some enemies or some things can just shoot out barrels.
Yeah.
They have a couple of these things positioned just beyond the wall in the Donkey Kong ballpark, and they'll shoot out. So you'll be in position to catch a fly ball, and then one of these barrels will knock you right over. And Bowser Castle has lava.
Yeah, well, obviously.
So there were, you had just the 6 stadiums, and then there was Toy Field, which is a whole separate play mode.
Yeah.
Mario Super Sluggers, that increases, but the gameplay is still largely the same. So Ben and I we played this game a ton.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun. So another of the Mario sports titles we played, not as frequently, but still pretty enjoyable. Mario Golf.
Yeah, Mario Golf. That one's always been a bit of an interesting one to me, just because I feel like for golf specifically, there's so many varied landscapes in the Mario universe. It could lead to some very interesting golf courses and various holes to play on. Like your normal grass fields, but I imagine that there'd probably be some literal deserts for dry bones areas, or you're playing on the moon because Rosalina. And I don't think there's many power-up things. There's probably special effects for hitting a ball really well.
There are... Well, the only Mario Golf game that I owned was for the GameCube, was Mario Golf Toadstool Tour.
Yeah.
And... yeah.
I was gonna say, I think there was one for Wii. I think there's one for Wii U out right now. I could be wrong in that.
I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up on more Google.
Alright, so
Fuck in the meantime.
In the meantime, Toadstool Tour, which was the one for the GameCube, it had, again, a very unique cast of characters, and all of them had with differing levels of strength. They were not all the same. Each one had, they could either hit the ball farther, had more of a slice, either was right-handed or left-handed, different trajectories. So there was some strategy involved, depending on what character you wanted. The strongest character was Petey Piranha, who, now, just the idea of Petey Piranha swinging a golf club is funny enough. But he was the strongest character, but he would just hit it, 300 yards straight. However, he had no margin for error. There are, as you were mentioning, Ron, there were different golf courses for various characters. You had your green courses. You had Lakitu Valley, Cheap Falls, Shifting Sands. That's your desert one. There was Blooper Bay, so we've got a lot of water in there. Peach's Castle, Congo Canopy, that's the Donkey Kong one, and of course Bowser Badlands, which again, lava everywhere. And you could also apply top spin, backspin. Each character, they didn't really have a special ability, but if you timed your shot just right, there would be like an additional, it was an on-screen effect, like Mario's golf ball would become a fire
Yeah.
sort of thing.
There is now one for the Wii. There is a 3DS one for the Mario Golf. It's called Mario Golf World Tour.
Okay.
It's been out for a year or so in Japan. Don't know if it's actually out in the US yet. I don't see anything saying if it is. Let me double check.
And this was, I still, my friends and I, we would call it Malf. And some of my greatest memories of playing that game with friends, my friend Wyatt, who has been on DLC a few times, he had this very funny to us, very annoying to him. When everyone was on the green and putting, their final shot, Wyatt always had the interesting habit of managing to putt it so that the ball would sit just short, like a hair short of the hole.
Yeah. Okay, so it did come out actually next day, so it is available in US.
Okay.
It's got 21 playable characters, 13 default, 4 unlockable, and then 4 available from downloadable content.
Okay, cool.
Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, Daisy, Donkey Kong, Bowser, Wario, Waluigi, Boo, Bowser Jr., Diddy Kong, Toad, Magic Koopa, Wing Koopa, Birdo, and I'm guessing this last one is like me.
Probably.
And there's some more that I missed. The DLC is Gold Mario, Lady Toad. I don't know what this other one is, and then Rosalina. Toadette. Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
But yeah, so that's the only Mario Golf game I played was Toadstool Tour. I have never played, and I want to actually play some of the Mario Tennis games because I love tennis. I love watching tennis. I love playing tennis. I've never played any of the Mario Tennis titles. So if any of you out there on the internet have played them, just let me know what you think because I'm interested about picking them up. Because there is the Mario Tennis for the Game Boy Advance. There's one for the Wii U just came out called Ultra Smash. There's a GameCube Mario Power Tennis. And then, of course, also on the GameCube was Mario Strikers, the soccer game, and Mario Strikers Charged for the Wii. And again, I enjoy watching soccer. I never played the soccer games. Did you have any of the sports titles?
I don't think I did. Mainly because I really wasn't like most of these games are kind of like party games too, and like once you had like Mario Kart, that was generally all you really needed. So
fair enough.
So unless you really liked like the baseball or the golf or the soccer or the tennis, like they're not. It wasn't really my thing. But do you know what all these games have in common, or generally speaking, have in common?
Besides the characters?
Besides the characters, they're all summer games. Which leads into Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
Ah, yes, the final conclusive nail in the coffin that Nintendo won the console war.
They literally have Mario and Sonic racing on a track at you as you're playing this on the Wii. Like, first off, let's be honest, Mario would like run laps around Mario. But
yeah. Let's be honest. I mean, Sonic doesn't need performance-enhancing drugs. Mario may have the jumping ability. Mario might win the long jump or the high jump.
Might win the long jump. Might win the hurdles.
But if we're talking just base speed, no, Sonic just win.
you fire the starting gun and Sonic's already finished the race.
Yeah, it's just there's no contest there. That's almost unfair. But yes, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, and of course, every single year we have an Olympics. So be it a Summer Olympics or a Winter Olympics, there is a Mario and Sonic. There are, of course, because the next Olympics are next year.
Next year, it's for summer, I believe, right?
Yep.
I would say because it's always divisible by 4 for summer, and then divisible by 2. The weird one is the winter is like usually 2 years after summer. So
yep, they split them. It's every 2 years. I mean, we just had the two in 2014. You had the Winter Olympics in Russia, and so next year they're going to be the Summer Olympics are in Rio.
Yeah, which slide aside has its own economics and political issues.
Yeah, but be that as it may, we are going to get obviously 2 more Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, one for the Wii U and one for the 3DS.
Yeah.
I've never played these games, so I have nothing really to say on them.
I haven't played them either. I just know they exist, and I find it hilarious that they even have, like, the games out. I think this was literally nothing more than them trying to get money, and I think that it was slightly successful, and now they're going to do it every couple years from here on out.
Merchandising!
Merchandising!
Where the real
your
money.
Spaceball cups, your Spaceball shirts, your Spaceball... what the fuck is it? The ring. The Schwartz ring.
Baseball's the flamethrower.
Yeah.
The kids love this. So, I think the last one that I have on my list that I will talk about, and again, I have never played any of these games, but I want to, I just haven't managed for some reason to pick them up, is the Mario and Luigi series.
I have played the first 1 or 2.
The first
there's
one was...
4 or 5 of them now?
With Paper Jam, that's 5.
Okay. I think I played the first 2.
So the first one was Superstar Saga. The second one was Partners in Time. The third one was Bowser's Inside Story. And then there was Dream Team, and now there's Paper Jam.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I played the first 2. I may have played the third one for a little bit. These were Game Boy Advance, DS, and now 3DS games?
Yep.
Okay. I remember playing the Game Boy ones. I don't think I played the DS ones.
Yeah, there was only one for the Game Boy Advance, and that was Superstar Saga.
Okay. Then maybe I did play the one for DS.
Partners in Time and Bowser's Inside Story were DS, Dream Team, and Paper Jam are 3DS.
Yeah. I think I played Partners in Time because that was the one where you played as Baby Mario and Baby Luigi too, right? And then there was some weird, like, swapping between adult and baby forms.
Yep.
I think I did play that one. I remember the first one just because this was basically like Mario RPG, only on Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, only for portable, and this time Luigi is playable. He's not sitting out.
Yeah. He's not sitting out, he's actually tagging along. And there's
once.
usually some sort of weird, usually some like duo thing they can do where like Mario does fire, but Luigi does like shell attacks or lightning or something for his elemental ability.
Again, I haven't played any of these games. So.
It's been 10 years at the least, so forgive my memory here, but I know there was something that like Luigi had for his like element attack. I don't think it was fire because that was Mario's thing. It might have been lightning for Luigi. I honestly can't remember, but like the main thing was that you could like you had super jump and like the various like from how Mario RPG had the various like jump attacks that Mario did. Like Mario and Luigi had their own like jumping attacks too, and that there was some that if you had the timing right, you could repeat them for quite a bit of damage.
Okay.
I sadly don't remember much of the gameplay. I want to say it was a mix of like platforming and like RPG exploration with some like RPG like hit points, flower power, like leveling along the way.
It's interesting to note that none of these games are set in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, they're all set in
somewhere else.
Yeah, they're all set somewhere else. Like usually the plot goes of Mario and Luigi are at home. They get a letter from they usually get someone to show up from the other place, where Peach shows up and says like, "Hey, we have like an ambassador from X place. I want you guys to come along and say hi to him because you guys are like kind of well-known heroes throughout the kingdom and throughout all the world. So we must want to like be nice buddies with these guys." You show up. Usually Bowser shows up sometime and ruins things, and then you have to go to the new place and fix everything.
Because Mario's just that kind of stand-up guy.
Yeah, and Luigi kind of tags along because he's sick and tired of being second fiddle to the and left to tend to the house.
Can you blame him? I mean, really, for fuck's sake, it's
Yeah.
Luigi needs to get some of the glory as well.
Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. Did we talk about Luigi's Mansion?
We have not.
Because those are like
that's kind of important.
That's kind of important.
Speaking of Luigi being left behind.
Yeah. like we've been here for 4 episodes now, and we haven't even mentioned Luigi's Mansion. Sorry, guy. We don't mean to forget about you that much, but
oh man, now Luigi's Mansion. Okay, all right. This one I have played because it was a fucking launch title for the GameCube.
Yeah, this is a goddamn launch title.
Big, huge risk for Nintendo to have Luigi as a launch title for a Nintendo console, and well, this kind of set the tone really for the GameCube era. To be honest, I feel.
Bit of a risk. Generally speaking, the gameplay was pretty solid.
It was.
Well, again, it's not Mario. It's not Zelda. It's not Samus. There's a bit of a problem here.
So, Luigi's Mansion, which, okay, you win a haunted mansion.
Yeah. Congratulations, Luigi. You've won a house. Okay, I'm gonna go to the house. Surprise, it's haunted. Well, shit. This about sums up my life so far.
Yeah, basically, just keep shitting all over Luigi. However, this was the first game to introduce the character of Professor Egad.
And the Vacuum 3000 or something?
You got the second half right. It's Poltergust 3000. Which,
Thank you.
This is how you suck up. How you just get rid of the booze. You suck them up into.
Yeah, you suck them with light, and then you suck them into the ghost, and then you suck them into the vacuum.
Because proton packs would be copyright infringement.
Yeah, and this time around, Luigi's saving Mario because Mario gets stuck into a painting.
Let's see. Let me just refresh myself of the plot here.
Because Mario tags along because, hey, Luigi got a house. I want to see what this house is. And all of it being kind of creepy and ominous lightning.
Mario is trapped in a painting.
Okay. And then all the ghosts are there because of it just being haunted.
Luigi. The game starts. Luigi won a mansion in a contest despite not having entered any contest.
All right, that's issue number 1. That's warning sign number 1.
Yeah, that's a warning. So Luigi takes a flashlight with him, and Luigi and Mario go. Mario is nowhere to be found.
Warning sign number 2.
It's haunted. Your main antagonist is King Boo.
Okay. So you have literal King of Ghosts saying, get out of my goddamn house, and Luigi saying, no, let me rescue my brother.
Well, King Boo trapped Mario in a painting.
Okay, yeah.
And that final boss battle, if you remember, King Boo is controlling a Bowser suit.
I did not remember that. So Luigi's still, in the end, fighting Bowser.
Well, kind of. It's not the actual Bowser. It's King Boo.
I know. It's King Boo dressed up as Bowser. What is this, like a Scooby-Doo episode?
You know, when I played it, I kind of thought of that. And along the way, though, for the ghosts you catch, you collect money. And at the end of the game, Luigi decides...
You're gonna fleece the undead for all they're worth.
Well, yes. That's because that's what you do. I mean, the IRS does it, so why not Luigi? So...
Yeah.
The haunted mansion disappears at the end of the game, and Luigi builds an actual house on top of it. The size of the house depends on how much money Luigi collected throughout the course of the game, so... Professor Egad would also make an appearance later on in Super Mario Sunshine with the whatever the water gun thing is called.
The water proton pack.
Yeah, so...
The Flush-O-Matic or whatever, the Floop?
Flood.
Flood.
Yes.
Flood.
That's a good FLUDD. But no,
wasn't there a second Luigi's Mansion?
Yes, Dark Moon for the 3DS.
What's the plot of that one? 'Cause I didn't play that one.
Hold on. Let's get let's get
Lord Wikipedia.
Let's get Lord Wikipedia up because again, I do not own Dark Moon. Although while I'm looking at it, I remember just the little touches though that Nintendo had put in for the original Luigi's Mansion. Like the deeper you got into the mansion, the more frightened Luigi got.
Yeah, like the entire time Luigi's like 2 seconds away from having a nervous breakdown and proceeding to worship Cthulhu. So
yeah, because you know, in the game starts. You hear Luigi just calling out for Mario, Mario. And, you know, and the deeper you get in the game, you could hear the panic in his voice.
It is definitely. And I didn't think Luigi would be a bit of a scaredy cat. Maybe he just has a fear of ghosts. Like, I don't know, but it's definitely one of because like he quivers too if he stands still. Like the deeper you get, like he starts shaking visibly.
Yep, and I know that for some to try to create suspense, anytime Luigi, Luigi would open certain doors and it would just cut to a shot of his hand reaching for the doorknob. And depending on where you were in the game, it would just be like a regular open the door, or his hand would be shaking.
Yeah.
Looking at the article for Dark Moon, Luigi's Mansion is once again, he's sent by the Professor Egad to explore haunted mansions and capture ghosts using an upgraded version of the Poltergust, the Poltergust 5000.
What happened to 4000?
And, in the main single-player mode, the player explores 5 different mansions that are each designed around a specific theme.
Oh, so now I gotta go through 5 haunted houses. Alright. 1 wasn't enough, now I gotta go through 5.
And you're trying to find something called Dark Moon Fragments.
Alrighty.
So, this is basically Luigi's Mansion Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Luigi, you gotta find the MacGuffin. Alright, where's the MacGuffin? It's in these 5 houses. Why is it in 5 houses? Because it's broken into 5 million pieces. God damn it. And by the way, all the houses are haunted. God damn it!
And Nintendo hadn't invented the Luigi death stare yet, because that would certainly apply here.
This would be a good application of the Luigi death stare onto Dr.
Egad.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Professor Egad. So basically, as I'm looking at the description of this game, it's basically Luigi's Mansion Tomb Raider.
Alright. What does it mention what the Dark Moon fragments do?
Okay, plot. They rebuild the Dark Moon. Once the Dark Moon fragments are done, Mario is again stuck in a painting. They rebuild the Dark Moon, which returns the ghosts back to their friendly selves. The professor releases the captured ghost from the vault, and they celebrate, take a photo, and the game ends when Luigi finally returns home with his newly adopted Polter pup.
So Luigi gets a pet.
Yeah, he finds
So the entire plot of the game is rescue Mario again, turn the ghost from evil to good, and your reward is a ghost puppy.
King Boo, the whole point of the Dark Moon piece is that King Boo admits that he destroyed the Dark Moon and reveals his intentions to use the corrupted ghost to conquer the world.
Okay. Alright. At least Luigi gets something as a reward this time.
Yeah, instead of...
It's a ghost dog.
I kind of hoped that, for at the end of that game, Luigi would walk up to the professor and just punch him in the face.
Just be like, dude, do this shit yourself. You're a professor. You invent this shit. Go out and test it yourself. I'm not your goddamn guinea pig. Let me sit at home. I'd rather sit at home and do nothing than be stuck going through 5 goddamn haunted houses.
So yeah, that's Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. And shockingly, it got received pretty well.
I'm gonna say they were pretty. I was gonna say Luigi 1 Luigi's Mansion was decently received. I thought because it was semi decent gameplay plus witty dialogue plus decent soundtrack.
Although I think this is once again a case of, as I'm looking at the review scores for both Luigi's Mansion and Dark Moon, it appeared that Dark Moon got the better end of the deal, because I'm looking at some of the review scores for Luigi's Mansion, which again, Luigi's Mansion came out in 2001.
Yeah.
So it looks like Famitsu, 34 out of 40, GameSpot, 7.9 out of 10, IGN, 7 out of 10, Game Informer, 9!
And this is for Luigi's Mansion?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Dark Moon, looking at the same set of review scores, IGN, 9.3, Famitsu, 35 out of 40, Game Informer, 8.5, Metacritic, 86. So, it did a little better, on the review front.
That's good. Maybe the varied haunted houses gave enough of a jolt to the gameplay.
And again, because this was, Luigi's Mansion came out in 2001, Dark Moon came out in 2013, so Nintendo hadn't beaten this particular IP to death.
Yeah, yet.
Okay.
All right.
It was like, okay, 12 years between between Luigi's Mansion games. Okay.
That's a reasonable gap.
That's acceptable. As opposed to, what we're on Call of Duty 9000 now, so...
Yeah. I mean, personally, I would like to see Nintendo beat some more of their franchises in the ground, i.e. Zelda and Metroid, but that's an argument for another time.
Well, yes, but I mean, because Mario is the face of Nintendo, it's only natural that they have a billion games with them.
Yep.
So, there we go. Yes, we did. Like, oh yeah, we're missing something, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Okay, so there you go, Luigi's Mansion. Anything else? Because my list is empty.
I had nothing. I'm actually, surprised I even remembered Luigi's Mansion, because this was a game I never really played.
No,
I think the only reason I remember it was because we mentioned Luigi's name enough times, oh, wait, he had a game of his own, didn't he?
I mean, and some of the other Mario characters did have games of their own. I mean, you had Yoshi's Story, you had another party game, WarioWare.
Yeah, you got the WarioWare games. Yoshi's had a Woolly World and whatever.
Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yoshi's Epic Yarn.
That's Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Sorry.
Yoshi's Woolly World just looks cute. It looks so adorable. It's.
I think Joshua, or the other person who usually comes on for our E3 episodes. The
Yep.
Our gentleman from overseas, he's got a bit of an obsession with the Woolly World.
You know, it's hilarious and adorable at the same time. It's cute, but so there we are. I think we have come around for the end, and we've had 30 years of Mario, Ron, and obviously Nintendo has no intentions of stopping.
No.
And it's actually been there's been some bumps in the road, but we've had really a good 30 years. I mean, we've grown up with Mario, so I mean,
yeah, we've like Mario is literally as old as you and I, so there's definitely good and bad along the way, like there is in life, but you just gotta for Mario specifically, there's generally been more good than bad. For Luigi, not so much, but that's another argument. I think with Mario specifically, he's the face of Nintendo, and this was a face that they really weren't expecting to take off, but they've done such a good job with cultivating the franchise that it would take a really, really big change, like Nintendo literally going under, for Mario to change. I think I don't see them doing much to change the formula that they have of Mario and of Mario saving the world, the Mushroom Kingdom, the galaxy, the universe, what have you, for the main games. But for the side games, just having fun. Just having fun with friends and having dumb shit happen, whether it's knocking people off of Rainbow Road or stealing the star from them right as they're ending in Mario Party, or glomping a ball as they're about to steal a home run. Mind you, all these things I just mentioned are usually you being mean to your friend, but it's always in good humor because they'll do the exact same thing to you because they're your friends. These are people that you like. These are people that you're supposed to enjoy and have fun with. You're having fun together, like you want to have with all your friends.
And that's been basically the point of the Mario series in general. It's have fun. It's to have a blast, and they're a very, very nice complement to some of the more serious narrative-driven games that we have out there. So, for people who've been playing video games for as long as we have, for people in our generation, I think Mario is always going to occupy a special place.
Yeah, definitely. I can't think of many people of the between like 25 and 35 that wouldn't, like, if you start singing Mario, like, you're not going to find someone who won't, like, sing along with you.
Yeah, it's iconic, and he's gonna be around for as long as Nintendo exists. That's just the end of it. So that's what we have to look forward to. So, as this is the final episode of 2015, just want to bring you guys up to speed what we're looking forward to. What episodes, some of the episodes we have planned for 2016, and as per usual, we are going to devote some episodes to anniversaries, although there's not that many, shockingly, that I found that I could probably create a full episode with.
There's not. I was gonna say there's not many. Most of them happen over the last year or so.
Well, we've done a lot of anniversary episodes.
Oh yeah, we've done a lot of them.
The last 5 years have been really good for milestones and whatnot, and now we're starting to drift away from that. But there's a couple of them that are going to be, I feel, worth mentioning. And again, all these episodes are just ideas for now. They're all subject to change, but I would like to do, well, this one is definite. Pokemon turns 20 next year.
Yeah, Pokemon is going to be a big one. I know you'll probably be doing a PAX East episode.
Yep, there's definitely, since I'm going to PAX East, myself, Wyatt, and a bunch of other, we're definitely going to be doing a recap of PAX East 2016, what sort of indie games are highlighted there, concerts and whatnot.
We'll probably be doing an E3 episode again, assuming there's an E3, which I would assume there is.
Unless California falls off, yes, there will be an E3 episode. A couple of the other anniversary episodes that come to mind. The N64 turns 20 next year.
Alrighty.
I would like to get some people on because this is a series that I haven't played. Tomb Raider turns 20.
I played a couple of them. I've only played the first two, like for the original PlayStation. I played those for a little bit, and then I played the most recent one, the reboot. So I could help out with that a bit.
Let's see, what else turns 20 next year? Crash Bandicoot turns 20.
No, I was going to say, a lot of the PlayStation launch titles should be turning
that's the thing.
Near 20.
That's the thing. It's just, a lot of the anniversary episodes we have done these past 5 years, they've been all having their origins really with Nintendo.
Or Sega.
Or Sega in the case of Sonic. But now since, we've wrapped up our 20th anniversary PlayStation episodes, now we're going to start seeing the franchises that started on PlayStation hitting the milestone. So yeah, Crash Bandicoot turns 20, Tomb Raider turns 20.
Resident Evil soonish?
If you remember,
maybe.
If you remember, we did a 15-year anniversary for Resident Evil.
Okay.
Back in season 1.
Okay, I can remember. Okay, so that might be due for
but yes,
soonish.
Resident Evil will turn 20 next year. We might update that to include some of the later games.
So, I can sense the disdain in your voice. I'm sorry. I know you don't want to, but we're going to have to mention the boulder punching. I
might just bow out for that section. If we update Resident Evil for the 20th anniversary, I might just... You guys talk. I'm just going to just bow out for a few minutes. Because if I start Resident Evil 6, I'm going to rant. So...
well, we may have you rant anyway, because your rants are always something to behold.
Oh, well, thank you. Something else I want to do, I want to devote an episode to, because I was thinking about ideas of what I want to do. And, well, Ron, do you remember that, in the past few years, we kind of devoted an episode to a particular genre of game that doesn't get as much love anymore? So, remember we did that one episode where we talked about fighting games, because you don't see too many fighting games anymore.
Yeah, as there's a little revival of fighting games going on right now. Yes, I'm aware.
So I was going through and I was playing, actually, a type of game, and this is a type of game you don't really see anymore, at least in AAA, but you're seeing it again, starting to come back more in the indie scene. Bullet hell games.
Yes, the old bullet hell game, the one where you sink quarters into a machine and see how far you can get before the screen becomes filled, or in some cases the arcade cabinet freezes.
So games like Ikaruga, Metal Slug, Gunstar Heroes. So I want to devote an episode to the bullet hell games.
Yeah.
And so just some of the ideas we've got talking about. I wanted to talk about, the difference between an idea that I had. There's an article that I read regarding what's called the polarization of video games, and I'll explain more about that, as it gets closer. Another article I read talking about what's considered a division among gamers. You have your console gamers and you have your PC gamers. So,
console versus PC. Console mindless drones versus PC master race.
I actually have it in my notes for the upcoming season. I have as an episode title the PC master race. So
yeah.
So again, it's going to be 23 or 24 episodes, the usual. So again, if any of you out there on the internet want to join in, or if you have ideas you want for us to talk about, or even to be in them, we're always accepting new people who want to join in. All you need is an internet connection and a Skype username, and definitely get in. Also, we are going to finally have an actual website next year.
Yeah, the 4 year. It took us 4 years, but we're finally gonna have a place for you guys to find little bios on all of us, episode lists of all the episodes we've done, whether it's links to iTunes or YouTube or Stitcher or.
The last few months, I've been working on a website for downloadable content. So, after this episode, hopefully, you won't hear me having to run the spiel every single episode. This is the last time.
Hopefully, yeah. You just go to the website, add website link here.
Yeah. So, again, every single episode can be found on iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher. And of course, you can get in touch with us. Facebook.com/DLContent. Tumblr at dlcpodcast.tumblr.com, Twitter at dlcontent. You can email us, dlcontent1@gmail.com. But yes, hopefully by the time we begin recording Season 6 of Downloadable Content, I can just say, once I finalize what the link's going to be, all the episodes will be there. There'll be even a place to just email us. So everything downloadable content will be on this site, so I don't have to run the spiel twice an episode.
Yeah. Just go to the website, hit the links. If you have any questions, just email us that way.
So you'll still be able to get in touch with us on social media, but everything will be located right there in one place. So that's to do. That is upcoming, and hopefully that will be live by the time Season 6 begins, which should be early February at this point. So
yeah, as we're taking a small break for the holidays because people are traveling, holidays and New Year's, and the beginning of 2016 is looking to be pretty interesting, just because of the fact that there's a fair number of AAA games that got pushed from the fall 2015, winter 2015 into early 2016, and then a couple more that got announced earlier today from our recording from the PlayStation Experience.
All right, well, that's something we'll have to get to. But again, a massive thank you to all of our panelists who have been on this season, and you guys are awesome. Thank you to our audience. Ron is my right-hand man, so thank you very much, Ron, for...
Yeah, I'm your Cranky Kong.
You're Cranky Kong. You're pretty much my co-host at this point. So
yeah.
After 74 episodes, I think you deserve that title.
Yeah. Does that mean I get out of the closet now?
I think you can actually get a name tag.
Alrighty.
And maybe a commemorative pen.
Ooh, can it be red?
It could be red.
I like red.
I know you like to draw, so maybe it'll even be micron pens.
Ooh, don't tempt me. You're getting me a little moist here.
It's like I'm tickling his inner thigh. So, but yes, thank you again. I know, Ron, you enjoy being on these things, so thank you so much for...
Yeah, they're fun.
For fun. So we are... This is episode number 104, so when we start up Season 6, it'll be episode number 105. So, from all of us here at Downloadable Content, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, enjoy the winter, enjoy December and January. Thank you, Ron. Once again, I am Brian Williams. Have a good one, everybody.